What's up, everyone? What is up? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. Hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Yeah. Okay, so before I get on to, I'm going to react to some TikTok videos, right? I always love to, react to some TikTok videos. Great topic. What I notice is what women say they want in men and who they date reflect the old mantra. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. 100%. 100%. Okay. All right. Real Rain is always on that. You got it down. 100%. But before I get into the videos, so I have a few, Venezuela topics, right? Some videos. So I wanted to talk about it. So before I get into it, let's check this out.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So in response to the United States taking sanctioned oil from Venezuela, Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response to that is.
Well, he has to watch because, he's got drug factories. They make cocaine in Colombia. And he's no friend of the United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker. And he better watch it. He better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. He better close them up fast, yeah.
I love it. One, it's not stolen land. It's won. It's land that's been won. Right? They won it. You want to take it? Try. All right? America, right? Trump already, all right, showed you if you try to mess with America, what would you get? So let's see what Mexico would do, right? To get back supposedly stolen land. No, it's won land, right? America won it. So I want to say that. 2, I've said this before about the whole foreign policy stuff, right? I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it, okay? I'm not a fan of Trump's foreign policy where Trump is focusing way too much outside of our borders. But I admit it was pretty badass for him to say to another world leader to watch your ass. That's pretty badass. That's like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Yeah. So I mean, like that's what I'm saying. I mean, like we got that land, so it's not stolen. It's not stolen, right? And Real Rain, what made you change your mind from Latinas to Russians? Now I've been hearing a lot of things about Russian women, so I don't know. I mean, sounds good. So who knows, right? Who knows? But I thought it was pretty badass that he said Colombia's president better watch his ass. I thought that was badass. Okay. I thought that was badass. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, also, I want to say this for this other video that I have.
Yeah, I just want to say if you're in the U.S. military and you didn't defect or leave the army or disobey orders for an army that we know is bullshit and going to destroy millions of people's lives, I hope you get sent back in a body bag. I do hope you get sent back in a body bag, yes. That goes for you watching this. Yeah, so I hope you become a magnet for bullets.
And then you wonder why, right? Americans don't like. You wonder why Americans think that, you know what, the black community should leave. Controversial. Was controversial. Right? Why I said that. Why I said that. And I don't. Again, I want to say this. I want to make it clear. I think the black community is the coolest community around. I love the black community. Right? Whatever you think I hate them. You think I whatever. That's up to you. Okay. But I think the black community is badass cool. But again, okay, listen to what I say. This is why America think that why black people even bother being in America. You hate it so much. Now, there's comments saying, "Oh, why would you make one black person to represent all?" But here's the thing. Here's the insanity, okay? The craziness of whiskey. What is up, my brother? What is up? The insanity of public opinion, right? Public, right? Social media, how our society is, how media is, okay? We see it all the time, okay? Some racist white people, right? Some racist white people, what do? White supremacy. All white people have white privilege. You pretty much monolith white people, right? Oh, you know, a few bad men. Toxic masculinity, all right? Men are dangerous. Well, you pretty much monolith men, right? Some men that are in power, right? Very few men are in power. Up the patriarchy, right, man? It's the patriarchy shit. We do it all the time, right? The public view. It's like we supposedly represent our communities, right? Men, right? Men represent men, right? It is what it is. Black people represent black people. Asian people represent Asian people. Americans represent Americans. Because you see this, right? Americans that act bad, they go to other countries. You know, people think that, you know, they're bad Americans. It's life. It's how it works. It's just sad. So the thing is that you have to talk out, right? You have to shame that shit. You have to show that, no, we're different than that. We are different than that. Shame that crap. Okay? I've said this before. Bring back shame. Because this is the thing. I guarantee you, right? Not many, if any, black Americans condemn what that man said. All right? I guarantee you, very few, if any, black Americans would condemn what that man said. No, yes, there's some great black Americans in the U.S. armies. There's some great, amazing black people, but this is the problem, right? Sadly, the bad apples a lot of times represent the majority, right? Or in the public opinion, they represent the majority. I want to show this again for people who didn't view it.
Yeah, I just want to say, if you're in the U.S. military and you didn't defect or leave the army or disobey orders for an army that we know is bullshit and going to destroy millions of people's lives, I hope you get sent back in a body bag. I do hope you get sent back in a body bag, yes. That goes for you watching this. Yeah, so I hope you become a magnet for bullets.
Here's a man that hopes our soldiers will die. You had, if this is your opinion, that's your opinion. But you had the entitlement, the nerve to post it. You had the nerve, you had the delusion to post that BS point of view online. So that's what this is why, we got to shame it. We got to call it out. Plain and simple. What's up, everyone? What's up? Thank you, everyone, for being here. All right, so let's get started with some videos. He probably didn't, because that's some BS shit he said. To disrespect our troops in that way, right? To disrespect our troops in that way is disgusting. This is a problem with his logic. Service members take an oath and disobeying orders is grounds for prison time. So we are asking people to choose between prison or go into a battle, and they don't do it. That's the thing, right? That shows you don't actually care. You want these people to disobey orders to get treason, right? To be called treasonous. And then are you going to help out these people? No, you don't give a shit, right? You want to say the opinions you want to say, and then when these people receive the consequences for their actions, you'll be quiet. You won't help these people out. You don't give a shit about these people. So no, it's BS. It's absolute BS. So. All right. Let's do some TikTok videos. Yeah. Yeah, they're not drafted. They volunteered into the army. These aren't drafted people. I don't think they're, and not all of them are career people, so they're not careered, That's the thing where I respect our troops. Okay, you may not have to agree with them, right? Agree with what they're doing, but you should show some respect. You should show some respect to our troops. It's the disgustingness of saying that you want our troops to be magnet for bullets is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Just because they volunteer doesn't mean they don't have duties. No, yes, correct. I mean, you have duties, right? You correct. All right. All right. So let's this woman, right, has a 4-parter of this kind of this interview of the diary of a CEO. So let's check it out.
You just said that a huge amount of
All right, let's do it again. Let's check out this video.
you just said that a huge amount of men between the age of 15 and 50 will not pass on their genes. They will effectively die out of the gene mating pool. So people will hear that, and many people will go, well, that's evolution.
Yeah.
But I want to understand if there's a counterpoint to that. Should society intervene? Why is, in the short term, we're going to have a lot of men who are disillusioned, that become incels, find themselves in pockets of the internet, are resentful, all those kinds of things. But should society intervene to course correct that? Should we put systems in place to make sure that those men meet partners?
I'm gonna answer that question with a question.
Okay.
If, let's say, a huge swath of people are dying out from cancer, should we intervene with that?
Yes.
If a huge swath of people are dying out from, like, a virus, should we intervene
100%.
with that?
Yes.
If a huge swath of people are dying out from genocide, should we intervene with that?
Yes.
Can I tell you, there's nothing more dangerous?
First, before this delusional woman gives her views, I want to say this, okay? I don't necessarily believe that we should intervene with, let's say, mating selection, right? Now, we may help certain things along, okay? Like, I don't know, making childcare less expensive, things like that, to help out people who do choose to mate up, create families, whatever. Okay, but to give men a I don't know, to help men get women. I don't necessarily agree with it. Now, right? Make education free. Make education free. Make things better for men to level up. Okay, I can get that. But this is the thing we also understand. Okay, if we care about, let's say, trans people, let's say gay people, right? If we care about certain groups, we should be able to care about all groups, right? And I'm not here saying that we should, right? I'm not here that we should care about, let's say, trans community, the gay community, whatever. I'm not really saying that we should. But if you are, which usually it's women, the group of people that stand with, oh, let's support trans people, let's support the alphabet people. Okay, well then you should be supporting all groups, if not majority of the groups. Okay, if you care so much about the blight of certain groups, right? The, I don't know, disadvantages of certain groups. Well, okay, why is your logic not consistent? In my opinion, I don't give a shit. Right? It's about, you know what? It's about accountability. You have to level up. You, right? All these men that, you know what, can't do it. Well, I'm sorry. It's survival of the fittest. You have to level up. This is why I've said so many times, my brothers, work on yourself, work on yourself mentally, physically, financially. Okay. Work on yourself to the best of your ability. You don't have to be a millionaire, but you have to be at your best or close to it or on the journey to being your best. And then, my brothers, get a passport, travel the world. Okay. I don't agree with people who want handouts. All right. You want a handout? F that shit. No handouts. Life is not easy, period. Okay. So I'll hold men accountable. I'll hold everyone accountable. You were adults. Unless you're a child, okay. But you as an adult, I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a trans, it don't matter. Right? My brother, Sisam, what is up? You have to, right, rise to the occasion. We are adults. If you fail, you fail. Get back up, try again. Right? We are not children. Your hand does not need to be held.
Than intellectual men having a reasonable conversation about some of the most fucked up shit. Because tell me, what does it mean? Should we intervene with men not getting laid? What does that look like?
This is why women aren't intellectual. Getting laid? That's what you're thinking about? When he's saying pass on men's genes, it's not getting laid. Right? It's having family. Getting laid? Men can pay for that shit. This is why women aren't intellectuals. I'm sorry. Not right here, right? You can't, like, women constantly said the nuance. Well, you didn't even listen to the conversation then, right? When you pretty much summed up that whole conversation as men can't get laid, no. Men can pay for that shit. It's not about getting laid. It's about having family. DA, if anyone ever wonders why I don't like American white women, send them this. Exactly. I'm telling you, right? If we can blame anyone, white women are dangerous. White women are honestly dangerous to society. I agree. I agree with Real Rain. And it's a white man talking, right?
He says it's like setting up systems. We have that. It's called dating. Is the system one in which they're guaranteed women?
No, but you could think about the system to help, right? It's funny that we have we constantly have things like trying to push trans, right, to be able to get surgeries or drugs for their transitioning. You don't complain about that. So, like, what if, like, making education more accessible to men? Focusing education for young boys to succeed better, right? Because education right now is geared towards women. It's geared towards women's success, not for men's success. Right? Plain and simple, like things that will help out men.
his little co-host there, who I do not know, at another point in the interview talks about the fact that, maybe men know that their genes are going to end with them. And so the aggression we're seeing from men is their inner panic. I'm sorry, what? So it's our fault they're aggressive. Also,
who said it's your fault? Who said it's your fault? It's not about fault, right? This is a thing where this is why I'm sorry. It's hard to have intellectual conversations with a lot of women. It's hard. Exhibit A. Not saying it's your fault. Right? This is the problem with a lot of women where, yes, men care about yes, men do. Right? This is the thing where it's not about fault. It's not putting blame. It's about saying what is. What is that there are men out there that are suffering. There are men out there are disillusioned. There are men out there that are honestly can be a danger. Okay? They can be a danger to themselves and a danger to the world. This is a thing where we talk about, let's say, mass shootings. We talk about, aggressiveness, all this shit. But we don't really talk about what can we do to, how about solve those problems? Yes, he takes one issue and combines it into 4 issues.
are women's genes not equally important in this? Because both sides would be having a problem, not just the men. And how interesting.
Not technically, okay? By dating studies, right? Dating studies have shown that women are either dating older, or a lot of women are sharing men. Women are either dating older or women are sharing men. So
it is that they almost predominantly talk about men. They very little talk about women in this interview. Like interview.
Why? It's an interview talking about men. It's an interview talking about men. 2 men talking about men. Why does it this is like that? Like, seriously? This is a problem, right? An interview with 2 men talking about men. You need to talk. You need to talk about women. No, this is the problem. They were talking about men's issues. God, the entitlement.
Intervene how? Like Handmaid's Tale? Like what are we talking about? There's actually so many systems set up to help men. The patriarchy. What?
The patriarchy helps men? How? The system is, again, the patriarchy, okay, doesn't help men. The patriarchy doesn't. This supposed, like, a society, okay, ruled by men doesn't mean that it's ruled by all men. So it doesn't help men. No. It helps what men? It helps top tier men. So helping the 1% means nothing. Helping the 1% means nothing. What a stupid ass woman.
Was made for this. I knew Diary of a CEO was going downhill, but like, god damn. Saying that men's aggression is because women aren't sleeping with them and they.
He literally did not say that. He literally did not say that. He didn't say that men's aggression isn't because women aren't sleeping with them. He said men's aggression is that they see the end, right? They see their bloodline ending, and your little brain processes that they're not getting sex. No, they're not getting families. They're not getting relationships. You equate like this. Your small ass brain equates having a family, having a relationship to sex. It's like, seriously.
Know their genes might die out. And one more thing, comparing the lower birth rates to a sickness or a cancer? What are you talking about?
This is why Mr. Smith, my brother, this is why it's the idiocy of women. Low birth rate, what does that mean? It is the path to end of civilization. So actually, it's worse than cancer, right? It's worse than all the other things. A low birth rate is a signifier of the end, right, of humans. There are studies that says that Korea by 2040, 2050, there could be no Koreans anymore, right? Seriously, like, does that not quantify with someone with women that has honestly very low IQ? Imagine a whole race of people, a whole group of people disappearing because of low birth rate. Oh, I think that's bigger than cancer. This is the absolute stupidity of so many women. Not all women, right? I've talked to plenty of intelligent women, but I'm sorry, women online, they represent the lowest IQ group of women.
Out. If anything, it is a symptom of the cancer, which is the violence against women, the mistreatment of women.
That's wrong, right? Studies have shown that comparative to the past, men are less violent. Women are actually experiencing less violence comparative to the past, right? I'm not saying that women aren't experiencing violence. That's not what I'm saying. But if you do a comparison, women of the past had more kids and in a supposedly more violent time, yet now less violent. Not saying it's not violent. I'm not saying that. But comparatively less violent, it's worse. Right?
That is the thing that needs to be cured. That is the thing that needs intervention. Like, what? Ugh.
You just
God, I swear to God, women are so, like, let me say this, right? So she said violence needs to be cured. One, that's impossible. That will never happen. Violence is part of human. Violence is part of humanity. I'm sorry, right? Selfishness is, violence is, all the negatives of human beings. It's part of us. So that won't disappear. But to say that, okay, you know what, we need to care about the violence, is that true? Is that true? Right? Guess what is the most dangerous to women? Guess who women get most abuse from? Not strangers. Their partner. Their long-term partners. Men they choose. Men they already choose. He's talking about men that's not been chose. He's talking about men that's not been chose. So let's do some logic math, right? So men women do choose are violent to them. Yet they say that, you know what, let's solve the problem of men being violent to them. That's why these men that don't have nobody is the problem, who they can't get nobody. They have nobody. So women are not experiencing violence from these incels. Women are not experiencing violence from incels. What women are experiencing violence from who? Their intimate partners. Their intimate partners, men that have already been chose. Where's the, seriously, how about use your brain a bit?
Are you saying there that as a society we should take on more of the responsibility for some of these big fundamental issues that men and people in crisis can't solve for themselves?
I mean, your listeners as individuals need to take responsibility. And it's not that you have to take responsibility. It's not fair to you to be responsible for someone else. But unless everyone who's listening to this podcast goes out and literally hugs a man, no one else is going to do it. Because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? You can't rely on society. We've been relying on society to fix the problem. It's not working.
That's right.
Here's my thing, right? I'm gonna respond to the clip that she just, used. I would say, no, you don't need it, right? I think men shouldn't need that, right? I need someone to hug me so I can do better. No, I'm sorry. Wake up. Men, we as men need to wake up. The world is unkind. The world is unfair. The world is not easy. No one's going to hug you, right? No one's going to hug you, particularly if you are a loser. I'm sorry. If you are a loser, you're undesirable, no one wants you. My brothers, right? I create this channel to support men, not coddle men. right? Not coddling men. The world is not easy. Jeremiah, we all just need more hugs. No, I mean, if we get hugs, great, but we need to we need to persevere. We need to wake up. Men need to understand that, the world is not fair, right? If you do not love yourself, if you do not respect yourself, no one would, right? At the end of the day, you need to love yourself. You need to improve for yourself, right? Be the best version you can for yourself. Be the best version you can mentally, physically, financially, right? Be the best you can be for yourself, and then explore the world.
Right. His solution for what's going on with men is that we as individuals need to go hug them. What? Welcome back for the unintended.
His solution, right, for men is that we need to care about men. We have women like this that shows you that it's impossible, right? The world does not care about men. They don't. The world does not care about men. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Men will always be cannon fodder. Average men will always be cannon fodder. That's why, you know what? I try my best here, where I try to promote a environment where I want men to know that they're not alone. But the sad reality is that you're going to have to push yourself. The universe is a cold, empty abyss that's hostile to life, and we are completely alone. We are. That's why brotherhood is important. When I've fallen down, you pull me back up. This is a thing where, again, right? This is what I wanted to create, right? The world does not care about men. If I could do what I could do is create this brotherhood, create this family that, you know what? We do care. We do care. It's just not easy.
Did part 2 of me talking about this dude, Dr. K. Now, when I posted a video critiquing this man, I got like 3 main comments. Number 1 being, he's not talking about women making up for the problem with men. He's talking about putting systems into place. Hence me showing the clip where he literally says we need to hug men. 2 being he's taken out of context. And 3 being, I don't understand this doctor. He's a really nice guy. Let me show you the other things this nice man has to say.
So men in today's society are not allowed to complain. So if you complain and you're a successful person or a privileged person, everyone is going to think you're arrogant. Everyone is going to think, oh my God, who's this fucking guy? This guy doesn't know what my life is like. How does he have any right to complain? But now we need to stop for a second and think about what it does to your psychology when you as a human being are not allowed to articulate your suffering. I've worked with people who've grown up in abusive households where children will say to their parents, Mommy, Daddy, I'm hurting. And the parent smacks them across the face. How dare you? You're so lucky. You don't realize the sacrifices I make for you. It's traumatizing to the child. This is what we're doing to the generation of men. People are saying, I am suffering. For 100 years, men have been themselves. The most dangerous thing for a man under 45 is themselves.
That's not a nice thing. This stupid ass bitch does not understand empathy, sympathy. More men die. I mean, like, seriously, more men die by the more violence towards men, right? Experience or against men themselves, right? This is a thing where men experience a whole lot more. Okay, are you criticizing that men cannot express themselves? Right? What happened to women? Oh, we want more emotionally expressive men. We want men that cry. We want men of this. No, this is why I said it. Stop listening to stupid ass bitches. Stop listening to women. Listen to their actions. All right? Don't listen to their BS. The crap that comes out of their mouth means nothing. Right? Because they will say something else that counteracts that bullshit.
And quick question, who is the greatest threat to women? Oh, okay. Notice how he infantilizes men immediately, comparing men not being able to complain to a child being by their parent.
I find this funny that we can use trauma to excuse so many women. Yet, God forbid, we use trauma to talk about men. God forbid that this is what literally this stupid ass woman showing you why men don't talk about their emotions. Infantilize men? Oh, I mean, like we shouldn't expect empathy, compassion, understanding, mercy, or love from these stupid ass 100%. 100%. On one side, women say they want men to express their emotions. On the other side, right? If men express their emotion, it's infantilizing them. And then you bring up, what's dangerous to women? That's what you want to say. The men that delete themselves, right? Men that are suffering, men's issues, right? Men issues, you bring it back to yourself. You bring it back to women. This is why these women are honestly miserable pieces of garbage, right? Where's the empathy that women so proudly scream to the fucking world? Oh, women are empathetic. Women are sympathetic. BS, right? He's talking about men. She brings it back to talk about women. You can't even talk about men's issues. Right? You can't even talk about the things that happen to men. Depression, right? Depression, the self-deletion rate, without bringing it back to women. Men are the most dangerous to women. Like, this is the disgusting ass BS that I hate.
So much to unpack here. Number one, in my experience, being friends with men,
don't fucking talk about your experiences. The world is not all about you. This is the BS of so many women. They think the world revolves around you, right? There are more men in this world than the men that you surround yourself with. There's more men in this world than the men that you interact with. Stop being so self-absorbed. So self-absorbed. So many women are so fucking self-absorbed. Right? There are plenty of men that are suffering, but yet you think about yourself. You think about, what happens in your fucking world, in your little world.
Dating men, loving men. I have never felt like men cannot complain. The internet is full of men complaining. This comment section will have men complaining.
And yet, here you are calling out men that complain. Here you are criticizing men that complain. Guess what happens when you constantly criticize men that complain? They stop. They bottle that shit up. There was a time, right? There was a period in time. Men bottle all that shit up. You don't hear a peep from men. And then you have women that said, men need to open up, right? Men need to open up. Men need to be more emotional. Men need to cry more. Okay, now men doing it. Now women are complaining about that shit.
There is a difference between not having the ability to complain and not liking the feedback you receive. Also, we are not these men's mommies and daddies. We are not their parents. We do not have a responsibility to them in that way.
Okay. But then you said, who are the most dangerous to women? Men. Maybe how about you think a little bit? If you actually care about men, maybe men, it wouldn't be the most dangerous to you, right? If you actually care about the suffrage of men, maybe it would help the men that would be dangerous, the men that would be, violent. Maybe that would help.
So saying that us not validating a complaint is the same thing as a parent striking their child is so bizarre. He does that throughout this episode. There's multiple times that he compares grown men to children. And additionally, I don't think the objection is to the fact that men have complaints. I think it's two things. One, the ways in which they choose to complain or show their displeasure, which statistically includes violence. And two, when we think about the scale of the injury, this would be a much better conversation once we get past the point that men are taking out their frustration on women and each other with violence. Then I think we could have a conversation more so about how we react to people complaining. And speaking of complaints, mine aren't over because he says more atrocious things. Stay tuned for part 3.
Atrocious. Calling it atrocious. When I speak at a conference about the make self-deletion, we have speakers that empower men and give them avenue to talk about their issues 100%. This is a thing. That's amazing. Right? She talks about men take out their violence on men and on other men and women. This is a thing where when you talk about things, it's not necessarily the same people, right? The men that talk about their feelings, right, are not necessarily the men that, enact violence on others because they couldn't talk about their feelings. They're not the same people. Not all the time. So, this is... Stop conflating the idea, right? Oh, you know what? The men that are violent against women, right, are the ones complaining about women? No, they're not. Not all the time, and maybe not most of the time, right? This is the thing where if we allow people to express their opinions, and correct, right? Even if you express your opinions, you don't be afraid of rebuttals, of critiques, 100%. But when you belittle, right? When you belittle just allowing people to express their things, I think that's disingenuous.
The world doesn't accept us. We're not allowed to suffer. And that's what creates the problem. So this is something that I experienced even in my marriage, where we allow men to cry, but we don't allow men to be angry. But why is it are men no longer allowed to be angry? You just think about it for a second. So anger is just a completely normal emotion, right? But if I'm in a situation where I'm in an argument with my wife and I feel emotion A and I express emotion A and she feels emotion B and she expresses emotion B, these two things should be equal, right? We as both human beings get to express what we feel. Now, in the case of me expressing anger and her expressing sadness, she's crying and I'm yelling. Suddenly, I become a villain.
It's so interesting. I saw a viral tweet yesterday. It was someone Googling, my wife is yelling at me, what should I do? And then my husband is yelling at me, what should I do? When they Googled, my husband is yelling at me, what should I do? Domestic violence helpline comes up as like a Google pop-up. When you Google, my wife is yelling at me, what should I do? Nothing comes up.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as you said, in the case of villainization, I know that most domestic violence comes from men, but it's interesting that we see the emotion, we interpret the emotions entirely differently because of that.
Absolutely, right? So we as a society will say like, oh, men need to be in touch with their emotions, but not anger. And then this is what really screws men, because as men, we are socialized and conditioned to only feel anger. This is the only emotion you are allowed to feel as a man growing up. And this is the one emotion that gets demonized when you're older.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing, right? My thing is that we don't teach men how to process anger. We need to teach people how to process anger, right? Men particularly. And this is a thing where women are, honestly, I've shown cases where women are violent to men. It's just not reported. And it's not viewed as that important because plenty of women hit on men, right? There are stats. There are certain studies. I'm not saying like all studies, but there are certain studies out there, right? Certain studies out there. Please listen to me, right? There are certain studies out there that have shown that in non-reciprocal domestic violence, that means like one-way violence where one person is abusing the other person, right? In some studies that shows one-way domestic violence, as in one partner abusing the other partner, no reciprocation, right? One-way violence. women commit 70% of one-way domestic violence in certain studies, right? I'm not saying all studies. I'm not saying this is everything, but in certain studies, it have shown that women commit 70% of one-way domestic violence. Okay? Please, like I said, right? Certain studies have shown this. But it's just not really reported. It's just not really that, big of a deal because men take it. I believe that both are not able to express anger correctly. Now, I'll say this. Men have the caveat that when men express anger, there's a lot more power to it, right? Even if women express anger, women hitting men, it's not necessarily the same amount of power. So this is a thing where I believe men need to be able to control their anger. It's a double standard that it has to be, period, right? Men have to control their anger because men are not allowed to unleash that anger. I've been there at a dark time in my life where I learned that I should not. I don't want to express that anger because anger like that is not who I want to be. So that's how I go about that.
This is what I'm referring to when I talk about the dangers of intellectual, kind men just having a conversation. They present these ideas in a way that seem palatable, but if you dig deep into what they're saying, it's absurd. First off, him saying men can't show anger. What? I mean, he eventually does disprove his own point by saying, like, the only thing men can do is be angry. So which is it?
Well, men are not allowed. Doesn't mean that men don't show it, right? Men are not allowed to show anger because potential of violence, but men show anger, period. Those can be, they can both be true. Men are not allowed to show anger because the potentiality of violence, but men show anger, period.
But then, of course, it turns very personal for him, as it often does with these men. He's talking about how his wife and he have a problem when they're expressing their emotions. And at first, again, it's palatable, this idea that we both have an emotion, they should be equal, we should equally be able to express it. But listen to what he says. He says, she cries, I yell. There's a reason we call it yelling at someone and not crying at someone. When you are screaming or yelling, it is at someone. Someone has to be the vessel of that or that anger. There is an impact to receiving yelling, which he talks about in the previous video. It is not about the emotion. You can be angry and not yell, just like you can be sad and not cry. It's about how you choose to show your emotion and who has to be the person to bear the brunt of your emotion. You don't just get to yell at people. And then our host CEO extraordinaire is like, yeah, I've noticed that when you talk about a man yelling, the domestic hotline comes up. Yeah, because statistically, when men yell, there's a higher risk of that being a problem, which he then even says. He says, like, oh, I know that's a statistic, but just talking about the villainization, it becomes that they're not villains because they're yelling at us. They're villains because we've made them villains. We have villainized their anger. Why can't they just be mad? Why can't they just yell at us? What are we talking about?
I find the hypocrisy in this. This is why I find a lot of women's argument disingenuous. I can show you plenty of clips of women yelling at men just taking it. Right? Plenty of clips. I always meet cool people in the DA's chat. Yo, I'm telling you, right? I love my chat. The people in my chat are top tier people, right? The people in my chat are top tier people. That's the thing where this is why this is disingenuous. Okay, both men and women yell at each other. both men and women yell at each other. Period. Right? But this is a thing where you can't. I don't disagree that men need to be in control of their emotions. This is why I think it's some of the stupidest propaganda by women to say that men need to express their emotions. No, men need to be in control of their emotions. Only women are allowed by society to express their emotions however they express it. Only women. Women have the luxury to express their emotions however they can express it. Because when men express their emotions, it does have the potentiality for being dangerous. But even if it's not dangerous, society will always view a man yelling at a woman as bad. Yet society won't view a woman yelling at a man as bad. Right? That is the villainization that we're talking about. We're not talking about, yes, if men are violent towards women, yeah, that's a bad thing, right? But you gotta look at society as a whole. When men yell at women, it is villainization, right? Because that's bad, men bad. When women yell at men, right, it's not the same villainization. And I can guarantee you, right? Because I said there are certain studies that have shown women to be equally as abusive to men. Okay, I believe there are certain studies to show that a lot of abuse cases are both people being abusive to each other. There are certain studies that show that both partners are usually abusive to each other. It's not one being abusive to the other, right? And nothing happened. Usually, in certain studies have shown that usually when abuse happens, it's between both parties, where both people are being toxic and abusive to each other. It just so happens that those abuse cases, when men start being abusive, it shows, right? It shows and it's reported. That's the thing, right? So
I think if you dislike that toxic masculinity, what we need to understand is it's the people who hate that toxic masculinity that are driving these people towards it. So I know this is kind of crazy. So what's happened is this has grown, right? And as it's grown, what have we done? We've demonized these people. We've said these people are bad. And as we demonize them, what's happened? They've grown stronger. So this is something that's very important to understand. If you are a man and you say, I am suffering today, what is the response that you're going to get?
Shut up.
Absolutely.
Not in those exact words, but that's whatever the words are, that's what they mean.
Now, I want us to be very, very careful, right? So if you are listening to Steven say people tell you to shut up, and your first thought as a listener is, no, that's not true, that's the problem. Men are struggling right now, and the rest of the world says, no, you're not.
Literally what she's been doing through the 3 videos, right? The 3 videos that I've just shown you of this stupid ass bitch, she's doing exactly what this man is saying. Oh, no, you're not, right? Shut up. No. What about women? What about women is literally telling men to shut up. I get yelled at by 4 stars general once. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't crumble and just said, yes, sir. Ah, okay. I know Red Door is a badass woman.
You're privileged. You're a man. There's a patriarchy. And I'm not commenting on the sociology of it. There is a patriarchy, whatever. Men have many advantages in life. I've experienced many advantages of being a man. It's absolutely true. Let's not go there. I'm talking about the individual experience of men. So there's one group of people on the planet who says, yes, your life does suck. And that's these toxic masculine people. They're the only people that truly validate men's experiences. Because everyone else says, why are you complaining? And these guys say, yeah, you're a fucking loser. What are you going to do about it? Whereas the rest of the world says, no, your life isn't hard. What are you complaining about? And I've seen this as a doctor. I've seen patients who are complaining about pain, women who are complaining about pain because they have an internal bleed within the wall of their uterus that cannot get detected. And they're saying, I'm hurting. And we ignore this person's pain. And that's when things go bad. So for years and years and years, we have ignored the struggles of men.
It's so funny that he starts this by saying, you know,
Literally, this woman proves this man's point. Literally, this woman proves this man's point. He's actually spitting some facts, and she's just waiting for to respond. She is literally giving this man the ammo. She's literally proving this man right. Throughout the videos I've shown you, this woman is proving this man right.
that it's kind of crazy, but you know, the people who are against the red pillage and who call it toxic, they're the ones who make it so powerful. They're the cause. It's not kind of crazy. It is crazy. Because what are you talking?
It's not crazy. I said this before. Feminist created Red Pill. Exhibit A. This is a woman that pretty much will facilitate Red Pill content.
About. In systems of oppression, the oppressed party is never to blame, is never the cause of said oppression. I agree that more than ever, people are having pushback to these toxic elements of red pill ideology, but it existed before this pushback. In fact, historically speaking, that has been the main ideology. He talks about how we demonize red pillars, just like how we talked about demonizing men's emotions in the previous video. No, they're not neutral. It's objective to look at these horrific behaviors, to look at these behaviors that harm others and say, those are.
So your automatic thing is anger harms others. Yet if it's anger from women, it doesn't. Anger is just the emotion, right? No one's talking about the action, right? You being angry, someone being angry doesn't equate. Anger does not equate killing, right? Anger does not equate harm. That's not the way it is, right? Doesn't necessarily mean correlation or causation, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that. There are plenty of people who are not angry at the victim and they still kill the victim, right? Plenty. So anger does not necessarily mean harm. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Plenty of people who are angry doesn't mean it doesn't create harm to others. It's just the expression of an emotion. Plenty of people are happy and they kill others, right? So really, that's not.
Aren't good. It is an accurate description. That ideology is based in a system of power and oppression. And so there will always be harm done, specifically to women and even to men. So no, we're not demonizing them by addressing what they are. And it's dangerous to say.
You are demonizing it, right? You're using the few to judge the majority, right? You're using the few men that are harmful to women, which is few men, 100%, right? By statistics, it's few men. When you compare how many men that are harmful to women, let's say statistics of, let's say, SA, right? Statistics of SA, maybe about 400,000. When you compare it to 160 million men, yes, it's a few men. Right? It's a few men. So when you use let's say the few men that are abusive to women through anger or whatever, and then equate men being angry, yes, that is wrong. That is 100% wrong. You are using the few to demonize the majority and saying that, you know what, yeah, we should criticize it. Exactly, Red Door. It's okay to be angry. It's a natural human emotion, but it's crucial to manage it constructively, not destructively. 100%. I agree. I agree. We should be able to teach men you can be angry. You just have to be constructive with it, right? Not destructive with it.
That like, oh, well, you said I hit you. Now I'm an abuser. No.
Who's talking about hitting? See? The stupid ass bitch now talks about hitting. No one talked about hitting. Right? They're talking about expressing an emotion, right? This is the problem when, honestly, you can't have intellectual conversations with women because then they will bring emotion into it. Pure emotion, not logic based. These two men are dissecting, right, something, an issue, right, in society. Men, right, men's issues. This woman is using her emotion to judge, to criticize men's issues.
It was when you hit me. Then we get into the whole debate of men are suffering and the response is shut up. And if you think, no, you're not, you're the problem. If you have a bad reaction when you hear that, it's you that's the problem. I actually don't know anyone who says men don't suffer at all. But we don't exist in a vacuum. When violence against a woman is at all
This woman, like, they're talking about men's issue. No, global statistics show violence against women hasn't reached an all-time high, but remains persistent. Widespread crisis with overall improvement over the last 2 decades. Studies, right? Not your blind emotion. Now, again, I said this before, I said in the beginning. It doesn't mean that women aren't experiencing violence, right? It doesn't mean that women aren't experiencing violence. But don't be disingenuous, right? Don't be disingenuous. Violence against women are not an all-time high. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to women. Those are not two of the same thing, right? Violence do happen to women. But don't be disingenuous to say that violence to women are at an all-time high. Comparative to the past, comparative to history, it is not, right? So what are you comparing it to? When you say violence to women is all-time high, compared to what? Right? And again, you're literally proving his point. When you're talking about men's issue, right? Talking about men's issue, you bring it back to women. You bring it back to women. Essentially saying, shut up. Right? Essentially saying, shut up. I don't care about man's issue. You need to care about women's issue. I'm sorry, bitch. No.
time high. When scary ideology is rising. When women are actively losing their rights. And men talk about their suffering in a system that men created. And they're looking.
A system that few men created. I hate this fucking bullshit. Right? This is utter BS. It is not a system that all men collectively, right? All men collectively, let's join together and let's create a system together. That is honestly disingenuous. This is not a system that men created. No, it's a system that very few men created. Why is that important? Because you have to understand. This is the thing where the video that short I put out, right? When I say that this one black man is saying that, you know what? I wish our US troops will come back in a body bag, right? This one black man, right? One black man saying that I wish our US troops will come back in a body bag. And I say that, you know what? No surprise that a lot of Americans say that black Americans should leave. And people are saying, like, how could you do that? How can you say that one black person saying this, it represents the black community? Exhibit A. The constant use of the patriarchy, right? A system created by men? No, right? You're making men a monolith. Right? I didn't create no system. Is anyone viewing my shit? What system did you guys created? Right? What system did you guys create? So we can make a monolith out of men, but God forbid we make a monolith out of anyone else.
Often to women to support them, to nurture them, when they believe their suffering deserves the same attention or more attention to loss of life or bodily harm.
The loss of life or bodily harm. Literally, let's play that little stupid shit again.
Men talk about their suffering in a system that men created, and
Few men created.
they're looking often to women to support them, to nurture them.
They're looking to society, right? Looking to society. That includes women too. But let's be honest, men are also critical of other men, right? Men are also critical of other men. This is the problem, right? It's not just about, oh, men can't have sex. No, there's no brotherhood, right? There is no brotherhood. This is why I created this channel. This is why I created this channel, because I want to show that this right here, right, is a family. I want to create a brotherhood, right? That includes my sisters, right? That includes women that do support men, that do and care about men. But I want to create a family. This right here is a brotherhood where we care about each other. I don't want men to be suffering.
They believe their suffering deserves the same attention or more attention to loss of life or bodily harm.
Their suffering equals loss of life, their own, body harm, their own.
That access to women being denied to them is suffrage in itself. It is very hard for women to hear that and to not want to bring the context of the entire situation into the conversation. He says red pillars are the only ones that validate men's experience. I call bullshit. I have many male friends, dated men. I validated them the same way I validate.
You validate, like, let me tell you this, right? You listen to this stupid ass woman. Would you believe she actually validates any man? Listening to this woman for these last couple of videos, do you believe this woman actually validates any man? I don't think so. I call that BS. Right? Red pillars, right? Men, content creators, we do. We talk about men do suffer. Right? We bring it to men. We bring it. We talked about men. We hold men accountable too.
Anyone. But what I have found is men often only want certain parts of their experience validated. They want their suffrage validated, but they don't want their privilege mentioned. They want to express all.
Because by your ideology, men have privilege. What privilege? What privilege do men have? What privilege? What privilege do I have over a woman, right? What privilege do I have over a woman? I have no one who's going to take care of me, right? What privilege do men fucking have? When you have a world that, you know what? I showed you a couple of videos, right? And all her comments agree with her, right? So we have a world that looks down on men. What privilege do men have? What privilege do average men have? What privilege?
Their feelings, they don't want any pushback. Do you think women have had their experiences validated? I know you don't.
Yes, I do. This is the problem, right? Women would validate other women's experience. Some men would validate women's experience. But guess what? Both men and women don't validate men's experience. Both men and women don't validate men's experience. Now, why I say that? Because I'm saying it's the majority, right? The majority of men don't care about other men, period. The majority of men don't care about other men. Majority of women care about other women. Majority of men care about women. Plain and simple. This is why I say it like that, right? This is why I said no one cares about men. It's hyperbolic, but in general, right? Because I say majority, right? Because if it's not majority, I say nobody, right? I admit that it's hyperbolic in a way. But again, majority of women care about women's blight. Majority of men care about women's blight. Majority of women don't give a shit about men. Majority of men don't give a shit about other men.
Because quickly he tries to compare a man not having his feelings validated to women having medical problems and pain ignored.
Do you know men feelings validated? Okay. you know, this is why women will never give a shit about men's deletion rate, men's self-deletion rate. It's just disgusting.
The fact that he thinks those are comparable. Oh my God. He is weaponizing women's experience of like being medically gaslit, right? To say, see, men also have it hard. That
Men are publicly gaslit. I shown you videos of this woman, literally, right? Publicly, social medially, right? Gaslighting men. You're not suffering. You're not suffering. Your suffering means nothing. It's women. Women are suffering, right? The patriarchy. You have privilege. Men aren't suffering.
is manipulation. That is purposeful. This entire conversation is incredibly manipulative to get the listener to believe we are demonizing men and we are actually the problem. We need to be stepping up. We need to be hugging these guys. And again, in order to buy into the toxic red pill ideology,
Metaphorically hugging, right? It's metaphorically hugging, i.e. caring. Caring about men's issue. Literally, this woman did not even show a goddamn ounce of care about men's issue. Literally, this woman did not show a goddamn ounce of care about men's issue.
you have to be willing to put yourself above women. You have to have negative beliefs about women, or at least for that not to be a deal breaker. So objectively, these men have bad beliefs. Stay tuned for the next part. Ugh.
No more next part. This woman makes my blood boil too, right? But, it is what it is, right? We have to take these times to understand women's idiocy, right? Women's insanity. The creature is a snake in human skin, in human form. Yes. This is a thing where, this whole video, right? Her whole response is essentially gaslighting men that you're not having a problem. You don't have a problem, right? Men don't have a problem. Men are the problem, right? That's exactly how it is. Literally, this woman gaslighting men into thinking that, you know what? Men don't have a problem. Men are the problem. Great. Great way to solve men's issue. To, say that, the victim has no issue besides the victim themselves. Okay. I mean, I am a believer in accountability. I just think it's funny. That when women are the victim, we don't put the blame back on women, right? We don't put the blame back on women. Yet, if men are victims of society, it's men's fault. Got it. Like I said, nobody cares about men. I do these videos. It's because I want to talk about the narrative around men, right? One of the things why I do these videos is because I want to make it known what the narrative of men is like, right? We don't talk about it enough. It's always a bad thing, right? The narrative against men is always a bad thing. It's always men's fault, right? Always men's fault. All right, more blood boiling women crap. Guys, I love you, right? Thank you for being here. Please like, right? Please like, if you guys could. Helps me out. All right, let's check out the next video.
Misogyny becomes really easy to understand. Misogyny becomes really easy to understand once you figure out that men as a whole seem to have a shared insecurity. Now, I say men as a whole, but men who advocate for women, men who are actual allies to women, don't seem to have this insecurity. And when I say misogyny, by the way, I mean literally all types of misogyny circle back to this. The need that men have to feel needed. Because the alternative to being needed is being wanted, and that is a lot harder. If somebody relies on you, of course they're gonna pick you because they don't have a choice. But somebody choosing you because they genuinely want you, that's a lot harder to accomplish. You have to actually be desirable. You have to get your life together. For thousands of years, men have not needed to be desirable because women really didn't have a choice but to pick them. That's why they idealize and fetishize the trad wife. A trad wife is the ultimate dependent. She doesn't have any money on her own because she doesn't work. She stays at home and she cooks and cleans and raises kids, so she's too busy to really get involved with anything else. She quite literally needs a man to provide for her and protect her. It leaves women in an incredibly unstable and vulnerable position. Not only do they need a husband to protect them and provide for them, but they also need to hope that that husband does not turn out abusive. There is so much reliance there that it's crazy. So of course they fetishize trad wives, not wanting women to vote, claiming that men are natural leaders, claiming that women are more emotionally unstable. All of this relates back to the same insecurity of feeling like they need women to need them. It's also why they demonize single women with high standards. A single woman who is happy, childless, high standards, career focused, they hate those women because that is the pinnacle of I don't need a man. Hell, I could post a video where I say absolutely nothing else but I don't need a man, and watch my comments fill up with random men who don't know me trying to convince me that I do. Even the whole not all men argument comes from men feeling needed. Because we see the contradiction all the time. Of course they believe that it's all men, because if they didn't believe that it was all men, they wouldn't be so protective of their daughters and their girlfriends. They wouldn't say things like, you're not leaving the house wearing that. I know how men think, you're not wearing that to school. Yeah, they know it's all men. They know. They just don't want women to use that information to protect ourselves. They want to be the ones to do it for us. Again, they need to feel needed. For women, our safety is our survival. For men, women's safety is a resource that they provide for us. Unfortunately, this also explains why male suicide rates are so high. That is a genuinely depressing way to live. Feeling like you have to be needed in order to be wanted, that is incredibly sad. But it's also not a problem that women can fix for you. If you're a man and you're watching this, insecurities are insecurities because they are yours to fix. No one else can fix an insecurity for you. You know what? Suddenly the whole man versus bear thing makes sense to me. I mean, why men got so upset at it? Because to men, a bear is an obvious threat, and so they think, well, you need men to protect you from that bear. And when women reject that idea, men are like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me now. Still don't agree with it, still think it's really stupid, but it makes sense to me on a logical level now. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking out loud. I've noticed that no one has made that point yet. No one has identified the source of insecurity that causes misogyny. And I feel like if we're going to solve a problem, we need to start naming what causes it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Food for thought, I guess.
You know, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt and listen to her whole argument, right? But here's a woman that thinks she is illogical, But to be honest, she's still emotional. Right? Let me put my logic out, right? So I don't disagree, right? Men have insecurity, but here's the thing where I find it so stupid, right? Where it's emotional, it's not logical. Everyone, human beings have insecurities, men and women. So to think that, oh, you know what, men have insecurities, no fucking duh. Are you stupid? Human beings have insecurities. Majority, if not all humans, men and women have insecurities. Well, men are not that special to be the only ones to have insecurities, right? Men are not that special to of the genders to only be the ones to have insecurities. We both do. So really, that's where your logic already falls, right? Where you think, oh, men have insecurities. Yeah, that's not something smart coming out of your mouth. We all have insecurities, right? Plain and simple. Now, I will say this, where she is kind of right, but kind of wrong, right? The whole thing about men being needed is more about men having a purpose. Men having a purpose. Throughout history, right? Yes, one of men's biggest purpose is a family, okay? Throughout history. But that's for both people, right? Men and women. Men and women, okay? Men and women, their biggest purpose is family. But men have a magnitude of other purposes too. Protecting our nation. Protecting people. Creating our nation. Building our nation, right? Building civilization. Advancing technology. Advancing human beings, right? Conquering the world, right? Conquering environments. Conquering nations. Men had purpose throughout history. It is only in today's day and age, right? It's today's day and age where men are finding less and less purpose in this world. What's there to build, right? What is there to advance? What is there to conquer? What is there to do, right? Most men are not, they feel less and less purposeful. There's no, like, seriously. Plus, you think about this, you can't really create a family because women don't need you, right? Hell, they don't even want you. That's the thing. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's like, well, I'll break her argument down, but that's the thing. Men are finding less and less purpose in this world. Every man has a dream of being in a bank heist, like Val Kilmer. And this is the thing, men. It's like men want a purpose in life, right? Men want more things to do in the world. I don't think a woman could defeat a bear. No, women can't. But let's break down this woman's thoughts.
Misogyny becomes really easy to understand once you figure out that men as a whole seem to have a shared insecurity.
Misogyny, the hate of women. I really wish women would understand words. The hate of women.
Now, I say men as a whole, but men who advocate for women, men who are actual allies to women, don't seem to have this insecurity.
Really? Really? Men that advocate for women. You have plenty of panderers, right? Plenty of panderers online. And yet when you dig into these panderers' life, you will find that they've been abusive to women. You will find that they've been liars to women. You will find they've cheated on women. This is why you don't listen to low IQ people, particularly women.
And when I say misogyny, by the way, I mean literally all types of misogyny circle back to this. The need that men have to feel needed. Because the alternative to being needed is being wanted. And
this is the thing where women become selfish or delusional. Men want to be needed by everything, right? In society, men want to be needed. Because this is a thing where if you're not needed by nobody, right? If you're not needed by nobody, what's the point, right? What's the point in it? And that's what we're seeing, right? Allies is panda bears. Exactly, right? If you're not needed by society, what's the point? In my opinion, men are less selfish than women. Women don't give a shit about society. Women don't give a shit about society. They don't care if society needs them or not. Women don't care. That is the power of feminism. Think about yourself. Men, for generations, we thought about society. We thought about more than just ourselves, right? Our family, our jobs, our community, our nation. Women, they think about themselves. That's it.
That is a lot harder. If somebody relies on you, of course they're going to pick you because they don't have a choice.
But this is the thing where women don't rely on everyone, right? You have to be someone worth relying on, right? You have to have something worth relying on. And then she said that, you have to be, of some sort of value to be needed or to be wanted. Well, you have to be of certain value to also be needed. What broke homeless man is needed, right? What broke homeless man is needed to be provided from, right? What woman wants a broke, useless man to provide for her? This is where her logic always is failing, right? The man that's needed is the man that provides, right? A man that provides some form of necessity, right? A man that's wanted, he can be wanted right now because he's good looking. He could be wanted now because he has money. He could be wanted now because he's charming. But being wanted, you're only wanted until you're not wanted anymore because you have never been needed. So this is the selfishness of women. I want you now until I don't want you anymore, right? Until your usefulness is no more, until I find someone more useful than you.
Somebody choosing you because they genuinely want you, that's a lot harder to accomplish.
Genuinely want you? Is it hard to accomplish? I think it's harder to keep, right? Because like I said, they want you because you're good looking. Well, they'll find another good looking man, right? They will find another good looking man. They want you because you're charming. Well, they'll find another charming man. There's always someone better than you. So they will want you until they don't want you anymore, until they can find an upgrade. That is the mentality of modern day women, right? They will want you until they can find your upgrade. Hypergamy, right there. Monkey branching, right? It's hard, I guess. But again, this is why a lot of women will desire the top tier men and then wonder why they're just one of many women.
You have to actually be desirable. You have to get your life together.
I find it funny that men, you have to be desirable. But women, This is why I said, give them the same fucking energy they give you. Give women the same energy they give you. Men, don't lower your standards.
Thousands of years, men have not needed to be desirable because women really didn't have a choice but to pick them.
I find it stupid, right? Where this is why this woman's not logical. You can be desirable and needed at the same time. What woman throughout history, right, is just going to go for a bum? Just a bum, a nobody, a man that has nothing for him. Right? What? He provides absolutely zero. Why would women need a man that does zero? He does nothing. He has to be some form of desirable, right? Anything. He provides something, right? He's a farmer, right? He has a business. He's some kind of desire. He provides something. Great genetics, right? A rich family, wealthy family. He's wealthy himself. He's good looking, top tier football player, right? He has to have some desirability. Women throughout history, again, this is the stupidity of so many women. Women throughout history, right? They don't pick just they don't just get any bum out there. That doesn't happen. Even family, right, who pick a man, they pick a man for a reason, that he has something to him. In general, okay? In general, throughout history, right? Throughout history, women, right? Men still have to compete for women. Women are not just getting any, like, bum out in the street. He has to have some form of desirability, some form of value.
That's why they idealize and fetishize the
This woman, well, she's a miserable woman, meant to be single forever. And this is the thing, I support it. Please, sister, be single forever.
trad wife. A trad wife is the ultimate dependent. She doesn't have any money on her own because she doesn't work. She stays at home and she cooks and cleans and raises kids, so she's too busy to really get involved with anything else. She quite literally needs a man to provide for her and protect her. It leaves women in an incredibly unstable and vulnerable position. Not only do they need a husband to protect them and provide for them, but they also need to hope that that husband does not turn out abusive. There is so much reliance there that it's crazy. So of course they fetishize trad wives, not wanting women to vote, claiming that men are natural leaders, claiming that women are more emotionally unstable. All of this relates back to the same insecurity.
I don't care about the voting thing, but I mean, emotionally unstable, I could say that. Again, her supposed logic is very emotion based, okay? Because it's not consistent, right? It's not consistent in logic.
Of feeling like they need women to need them. It's also
Men need society to need them, right? Again, this is her disingenuousness. Men need society to need them. Okay? Or it's not even need. It's not that men need society to need them. Men need a purpose. That's the thing. I've always said this, right? Men need a direction in life. Men need a direction in life. Men need a purpose in life. That's the thing. Now, that could be however it is, right? Get your dream, right? Become an artist. Become a YouTuber, right? It could be whatever. Right? Men need a purpose, a direction in life. That's the thing. Sports have given men purpose. Right? A career has given men purpose. Seriously, Tom Brady, literally, he essentially left his family, right? Left his family for his purpose. I mean, right there. It's purpose in life, not women. Now, it could be women, right? A lot of time it is women, but still, it's essentially, it's not the women. It's the purpose. It's the direction, right? For average men, a lot of times the purpose and the direction is creating, providing, protecting for a family, right? That is the thing.
why they demonize single women with high standards. A single woman who
Men, I mean, like, I'll say this, right? I don't agree with men demonizing women with standards. I say go for it, right? If you have high standards, great. Stick with it. My problem is, right? I don't demonize women with high standards. I demonize women with high standards, yet pick men that don't even meet those standards. That's what I demonize. That's what I demonize. I demonize women that have high standards and they still fucking pick men that they complain about. That's what I demonize. I don't demonize women with high standards. You go, girl. Have your high standards. Have your crazy ass high standards. I hope you have it. I hope you make high standards. But when it comes to hypocrisy, where you have high standards and you still complain about fucking men, that says something. But men that talk English, what is up, my brother? When men talk about women having high standards, because it doesn't make sense. Like I said, a lot of times women pick men that don't even meet those standards. Or women pick men that meet those standards and they still complain about those men. So that's why your standards don't make sense.
who is happy, childless,
Exactly. Her standards don't make sense, right? They're not logical.
high standards, career focused. They hate those women because that is the pinnacle of I don't need a man. Hell,
Now, I don't agree. I don't agree to men that hate the women that have high standards or I don't need a man. But I talk about the hypocrisy. You don't need a man, yet you're still dating, you still want a man. I mean, focus on yourself, right? Because then these same women that say, I don't need a man, come here and complain to men. Men don't commit. Men lie. Men cheat. Men are abusive. Men this, men that. Girl, you don't need a man. Stay single, right? You don't come on here and say you're strong, independent, you don't need a man. And then you say, why aren't men approaching me? You don't say that you're strong, independent, you don't need a man, and say that, you know what? I want to get liars and cheaters. Girl, you don't need him. Guess what? He don't need you. So he will pump and dump, right? He doesn't need to commit to you. You don't need him. He don't need you. He's just using you. Women don't understand the mentality you have attracts the shitty men you do because you have a shitty mentality. If you don't need a man, he don't need you. Surprise, surprise, right? And a man don't need you, he will leave you when he's done with you. Just like women.
I could post a video where I say absolutely nothing else but I don't need a man, and watch my comments fill up with random men who don't know me trying to convince me that I do. Even the whole not all men argument comes from men feeling needed. Because we see the contradiction all the time. Of course they believe that it's all men, because if they didn't believe that it was all men, they wouldn't be so protective of their daughters and their girlfriends. They wouldn't say things like, you're not leaving the house wearing that.
Does this sound logical to you? Let me critique this stupid logic. Okay. Oh, men do believe it's all men. That's why men don't let their daughters out. Are you stupid? No, that's not the same thing. Men know it's not all men, right? But men are protective of their daughter. It's not because they know it's all men. It's because men know that there are men, right? That's the thing. Being cautious, right, is understanding that there are bad people out there, right? Being cautious doesn't mean that you know that there's only bad people out there. That's stupid. That's idiotic, right? That's nihilistic. Men are cautious because they know that there are bad people out there. There are bad men out there. It doesn't mean that they're all bad people out there. Because that's idiotic. Because any man that believes that all men are bad, then you're bad yourself, right? You are a bad person yourself. To say that, all men are bad, but I'm not. That don't make logical sense. That don't make logical sense, right? When you could say that all people are bad, yet you're not bad, where's the fucking logic in that, right? It doesn't make logical sense. So no, men do not believe all men are bad. Men do know that there are bad men out there. That makes sense. So men are cautious, period. This is why I said this woman is not being logical. She's being emotional, right? Her emotional logic, right?
I know how men think. You're not wearing that to school. Yeah, they know it's all men.
No, I know how some men think, right? But I don't want to take the chance that you meet that one man that thinks like that. Period. Are you stupid? Right? Because again, it's not logical, right? If a man says it's all men, yet he doesn't include himself, then already there's fallacy in that logic, right? Because you can't say all men and then not include yourself. Period.
They know. They just don't want women to use that information to protect ourselves. They want to be the ones to do it for us. Again, they need to feel.
No, it's not that men want to protect you, because that can endanger men's life. Because men are better at protecting you, right? Because I find this. We'll talk about We'll talk about her logic about the bear thing, right? But her logic about the bear literally shows you why she's not logical, right? Why men are logical, right? Her view about the bear literally show you why men are more logical than women, right? You would choose a dangerous animal over a man that, honestly, by true statistics, wouldn't be as dangerous, right? True statistics wouldn't be as dangerous as a wild animal that's unpredictable, right? A wild animal that's unpredictable, that you cannot communicate with. Men are forced to protect women because women are emotional based. They're not logic based. Okay? Because you see this in society right now. Women constantly, men are dangerous, yet they are fine with going out at night. Men are dangerous, yet you know what? They're fine with wearing almost nothing going out at night. Right? Men are dangerous, yet they're fine with dating men. Right? They're fine with picking the ones that are the abusive one. So my men's view is that, you know what? Women are so cautious of men, yet they do nothing in life that shows you that they're actually cautious of men, besides saying a whole lot of shit. While men, right, they show how they're cautious of other men. They don't want their women, their daughters, to dress like that, going outside. They don't want their women or their daughters to go out at night. Right? They don't want their men, they don't want their women or their daughters to hang out with men. Right? I mean, it doesn't mean that they think all men are dangerous. No, but they think that there could be a chance. There could be a chance that you, because you're so stupid, might meet that one man that will be dangerous.
Feel needed. For women, our safety is our survival. For men, women's safety is a resource that they provide for us. Unfortunately, this also...
That is true. I don't know this. Men's safety is their survival as well. I mean, safety is survival as well. That happens to everyone, right? But here's the thing. Men provide safety for everyone. The police
explains why male suicide rates are so high. That is a genuinely depressing way to live. Feeling like you have to be needed in order to be wanted, that is incredibly sad.
You know, she conflates things, right? It's feeling that you have a purpose in life. I believe so many young men feel like they have no purpose in life. That's the thing. It's not necessarily wanted or needed. It's necessarily like you don't know what to do in life. That's the thing. You have no purpose, right? You have no purpose. You're not that smart. You're not that athletic. You're not good at anything. You're not desirable in any kind of way, right? So you have no purpose. What are you going to do? What do you do in life? What are you going to do? That's the thing, okay? There's no purpose. There's no, you're not getting hired to be a CEO. You're not winning medals. You're not winning trophies. That's the thing. It's not necessarily wanted or needed. It's more about a purpose, a direction in life. Men that are directionless, right? Men that are guideless, men that are purposeless, don't know what to do in life.
But it's also not a problem that women can fix for you. If you're a man and you're watching this, insecurities are insecurities because they are yours to fix. No one else can fix an insecurity for you. You know what? Suddenly the whole...
I always find it funny. Okay? When we talk about, let's say, women's being fat, right? The insecurity of being fat, okay? Women being fat, yet a lot of women deem that, you know what? Society needs to care. The hypocrisy that, a lot of how the transgender, right? Transgender, the insecurity of, oh, you think you're born in the wrong body. Society needs to care. Why don't you, this is why it's inconsistency in this low IQ woman's logic. Where's the consistency? Why do we have to care about trans people insecurities? Why do we have to care about the alphabet people's insecurities? Why do we have to care about women's insecurities? Why do we have to care about fat people's insecurities? Why? Why all these groups that we have to care about their insecurities? All these marginalized groups, their insecurities. Yet, when it comes to men's insecurities, you have to fix it yourself. Okay, that makes sense, right? You have to worry about yourself. Society should not care. Society should not fix your insecurities. That makes sense, right? Why care? Yeah, Ingrid said, right? Agree. Why care about all these marginalized groups' insecurities? Yet, when it comes to men's insecurities, no, you got to fix yourself. You got to worry about yourself. You got to fix it yourself. Society should not care about you. Makes sense.
Man versus bear thing makes sense to me. I mean, why men got so upset at it? Because to men, a bear is an obvious threat. And so they think, well, you need men to protect you from that bear. And when women reject that idea, men are like,
yeah. Men are like, what the fuck are you doing? You are here constantly saying that men are dangerous. Men are dangerous. Men are dangerous, right? So obviously you are equating danger, right? You are establishing danger. What is so dangerous, right? I don't want to go with something that's so much more dangerous. Okay. But when men are trying to give you a scenario about danger, right? A scenario about danger, you chose something that is more unpredictable, have a potentiality for danger. Wild animals, right, are unpredictable. And that unpredictableness leads to danger. That's why men don't see the logic in it. You complain about danger when it comes to men, right? So men create a scenario when it's about danger, yet you don't care about danger. Women also say that I don't care if a bear eats me alive. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Right? You complain about men being dangerous, yet you are fine with a bear eating you alive. It's like, so it's not about danger anymore. It's about you just hate men. That's the point, right? Men give you a scenario about actual danger. The percentage that you'll find one random man to be dangerous to you, right? That's why it's the insanity where there's a higher chance of something that is unpredictable to be dangerous to you. Statistics have shown that what's more dangerous to women is someone that's intimate to her, right? Someone personal in her life rather than a random man, right? A random man is less dangerous to a woman than someone she chose, right? Someone that's in her life personally. Yet women will view all men as dangerous while picking the unpredictable animal that you don't know what would do to you. English, what's up, my brother? Thank you for the love. They like the bear, like they like.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me now. Still don't agree with it, still think it's really stupid, but it makes sense to me on a logical level now.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, right? It doesn't make sense. If you think about it logically, right? There are studies that have shown statistically, right? You won't experience, like, strange men are less dangerous than men you let into your life, right? So there's a statistic that most men are not dangerous. Most men are not dangerous. But we have no study on the unpredictability of a bear. Yes, an acolyte.
But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking out loud. I've noticed that no one has made that point yet. No one has identified the source of insecurity that.
Because it's stupid. Right? Because what she said is honestly stupid. So, okay. What do you guys think? All right, let's end out on this video. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for all the love and support. Guys, please don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to click the like button, my brothers. Thank you for the love. Thank you for all the love and support. I love you guys. You know what? Bitcoin is slowly recovering, right? Bitcoin is so slowly recovering. It's back in the 90s. So Bitcoin is, I think 2026 is going to be a good year. Hopefully, but I think it's going to be good year, okay? What is it? Bitcoin is, Bitcoin is like up, 1% today, 93,000. I mean, like it was in the in the 80s. So Bitcoin is, I think, it's recovering. I mean, it's close, right? It's closer to be honest, Bitcoin is closer to what is it? 100 than it is to 80, right? Let's see yeah. So Bitcoin is slowly doing it. But System, you gotta put more money in other things than crypto. Crypto is volatile in my opinion. So I don't know. I wouldn't have told you to do that. Is Ragna still active now? Ragna, is that crypto? No, I don't know what Ragna is. Is that one of the small cryptocurrencies? I think Bitcoin would do well. Oh, Ragnarok is eternal. Yeah. But bro, today I'm up almost. I'm up 7%. So it's a decent day. 7%, a decent day, right? Oh, he means Ragnarok Online? Oh, damn. That's an old school shit. That's old school. Man, I remember Ragnarok Online. Man, I remember when it first came out. Yeah, it's very risky. I have a little bit in Bitcoin, but it's a gamble play, right? For me, Bitcoin is a gamble play. So I don't put that much into it. But I bought a little bit of Bitcoin when it was in its 50s, right? When it was a 50K. So I'm not worried about it. I'm already up with Bitcoin. Let's say I'm already up 50% with Bitcoin, right? But I only put a little bit into it. So, I don't care if Bitcoin goes up or down. I worry about other stocks. I worry about stocks. So that's my thing. But today was a good day for stocks, in my opinion. I love it. But guys, my brothers, I hope you guys are all investing, right? All my brothers, I hope you guys are investing. It doesn't matter Bitcoin or stocks, but you guys got to invest. Got to invest. I'm telling you. Yo, back in the day, high school computer shop. Oh, God. That was back in the day. I'm telling you. The 80s and 90s. 80s and 90s. Those were the days. Those were the glory days. Love it, System. I love you got stocks too, right? My brothers. All of you guys. I hope all you guys are investing. Please. All right. Let's try one more. Let's check out this one video, and then I think that'll be it for tonight. All right, let's check out this video.
I may be a baddie, but I'm also a fucking saddie. I am a man eater when it doesn't matter. But when it does, I'm such a fucking lover girl. And it's so hard and it's so fast for me, and I can never fucking put the brakes on. And I was giving a chance like this fucking shy nerdy type, right, that I thought was just gonna be so sweet. And we sleep together and he pulls a fucking 180, bro. And I can like sleep with people casually, and I can do that. I don't have a problem doing that. But not like when I like somebody and like it's meaning something, you know, it's different. If I'm willingly giving myself, like I don't have a problem being used that way. But this is different. This just ends up feeling yucky. Like it makes me feel gross. And I won't lie, I was so fucking excited about this kid. And I thought he was gonna be so nice. Bro, I've never had anybody like be that cold and fucking mean to me. I won't lie. All the ones you know about, like Sam never did that to me. Bookstore Sam, Frenchie never did that. Soccer Boy didn't even do that. I don't know, it kind of feels like I got played on purpose. I don't like mean-spirited people. And that's what that felt like. I'm not mean-spirited. When I'm on here joking about the roster, half of them are made up. Like that one the other day where I was like, oh, sweetie, you think that's about you? Nobody had messaged me that. Like, that's content. But when I have a roster, they know I have a roster. Like, they know about each other. If it's casual, it's casual. But I dropped that roster so fucking quick. I like somebody, which is why I'm in this position now, bro. It took me one date, and I was like, cleared. And the difference is too, like with my toys, I don't switch up like that. You know what I mean? It is what it is from the get-go. I'm not dating you and making you fall in love with me and then being like, fuck you. All parties are always on the same page with what's happening. But yeah, my boundaries were pushed a little bit and it went faster than I wanted it to. But I really liked him. Or at least what I knew of him. And I like.
You know, one of the things I regret is not buying gold and silver. I really regret it, right? I didn't have the money for it, but still, I think it's really cool if I had some gold and silver bullions. I really regret it.
Liked our banner, and that motherfucker was giving me forehead kisses, and I said, please don't do that. And he goes, why are you gonna catch feelings? Here, let me make sure I do it again. You fucking evil supervillain. I just feel gross. Yeah. And it was already a hard week for me. But that was my pick-me-up. And now I just feel fucking beat down again, dude. I can get whoever I want. That is totally true. But they only want to sleep with me. I can't get people to want to date me. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm always fine. But I'm angry. And I'm hurt. And the reason I went for somebody different from my type is because I was prioritizing a soft landing. I just wanted somebody kind. Joke's on me, bro. I got fucking one of the meanest ones I've had in a while. Holy fucking shit. I don't know. It just makes me feel less than human. The way that interaction went. Things will swing back over in my favor. I know they will. I just was really excited to be cuffed for cuffing season. I just wanted something soft and calm. I have a knack for finding the most unsafe people for me emotionally. Anyways, boys are supervillains. We hate them. Okay, bye. I may be a baddie.
This is the problem why I talk about women's accountability. This is the thing where I talk about women, right? I've said this before. I don't hate women. I don't. Right? I don't hate women. I do not hate women. What I hate is this mindset of a lot of women, right? This mindset of a lot of women is honestly dangerous. Her tears are for the camera. I mean, this woman she's already admitted to lying before, so she probably is lying, but she's probably doing this for the content. It is what it is, right? again, this is the problem I have with so many women, right? Remember at the end she said, right? Men are villains. No, I'm sorry. The men you chose are villains. The men that you are attracted to are villains. Okay? This is the problem with so many women. They don't wake up. And I've said it before. I think women benefit more if they actually listen to men's content. Women would benefit more if they actually listen to men's content. And not all men, but certain men. Okay? Because this woman, she's her own worst enemy. Let's break this down.
I'm also a fucking saddie. I may be a baddie, but I'm also a fucking saddie.
A woman that thinks she's a baddie is a woman that's egotistical. You are delusional. What makes you think you're a baddie? Men want to have sex with you? That's what you think you're... This is the insanity right here. This right there, all right? Already, you see the mindset of a woman. You see the mindset of a woman. You already see her red flags. You already see why she's failing. You think... Yo, Jeremiah! All right? Oh. I'm going to try to find her on Insta. I hope you can fix her, right? Here, I hope you can... Here, look at that. Right here. This is her TikTok. I hope you can fix her, right? If you can fix her, I hope you could do it, all right? Her TikTok. Secondhand smoke show. Okay. Sierra. Interesting. If you can fix her, go for it. She's she's cute. I think she's cute, but again, this is the thing, okay? Any woman that thinks she's a baddie, I'm sorry. Because you already show how egotistic you are. And you already show what type of men you go for. A woman that thinks she's a baddie, guess what type of men she's going to go for? Men that are also good looking. Or I'm not saying go for ugly men, but are conventionally attractive, right? Men that are conventionally attractive. Men that you may perceive as male baddies.
I am a man eater when it doesn't matter. But when it does, I'm such a fucking lover girl.
The hypocrisy, the insanity that you are a man eater and a lover girl. This is the problem with women. You cannot be a lover girl and a slut, right? You can't. That don't make sense. How can you be a lover girl, right, about love when you're pretty much...
He belongs to the streets.
You're pretty much for the streets. How? How can you...
He belongs to the streets.
And be a lover girl? That don't make fucking sense. It doesn't. You are honestly for the streets. So I'm sorry. Women are their own worst enemy. You cannot be a lover girl, a girl about love, when you're just giving your ass to every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. That don't make sense.
And it's so hard and it's so fast for me, and I can never fucking put the brakes on. And I was giving a chance like this fucking shy nerdy type.
Shy nerdy type. I always find it funny, right? Women seem to not comprehend, right? A man that's ugly, a man that's good looking. Being ugly or good looking does not necessarily mean you are a quality man, right? It doesn't. If you're ugly, it doesn't mean that you're more morally sound, right? If you're attractive, it doesn't mean that you're less morally sound or less moral. It doesn't. How you look doesn't necessarily correlate with who you are inside. Now, it could add to it, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not a automatic, oh, if you're good looking, you are a terrible person. If you're bad looking, you are a good person. No. So really, why do you say that I try to give a chance to a man that's morally sound, that's good character? Why that? Shy, nerdy? That's so ambiguous.
Right? That I thought was just gonna be so sweet. And we sleep together and he pulls.
You slept together. You slept with a man you barely know. You slept with a man like out the get-go. I'm sorry. This is a thing where now it doesn't necessarily correlate, right? It doesn't mean that, oh, sleeping with a man the first night, right, is automatically you're terrible. No. But here's the thing. If you are a lover girl, right, you're picking a man that's a lover boy, a man that is about love. It's not about sleeping with you. It's about getting to know you. A man that barely knows you and he's already sleeping with you, that's what he wanted to begin with. I'm sorry. I'll be honest. It doesn't mean 100%, but balance of probability, right? Balance of probability, yes, it is. A man that wants to sleep with you when he barely knows you, all he cared about was sleeping with you. I'm sorry. That's just balance of probability. That is true. Not 100%, but balance of probability. All right? Wake up. And I'm not saying that, oh, don't ever have sex with the man. No. But you got to get to know the man. Stop, seriously, stop jumping to home base when you barely even started the race. Right? Stop jumping. This is the problem with a lot of women. Oh, you know what? Instead of getting married or instead of being in a relationship, I'm going to give him a kid already. You barely know the man. You barely know the man and you already gave him a kid. You barely know the man and you already made him a baby daddy. Right? Seriously. Take your time to actually know him. What made him a shy, nerdy type? What? What made him a shy, nerdy type? You can't even say. You barely know him.
So fucking 180, bro. And I can sleep with people casually and I can do that. I don't have a problem.
A woman that can say that, she's already damaged. The things she's going to say, right? A lot of things she's going to say, you cannot be surprised that she attracts the men that she attracts. I can sleep with a man with no problem, right? With no emotion. Guess what, bitch? You're going to attract men that just want to sleep with you with no emotion. Plain and simple. You have no standards. And then you think men, you think you're going to attract men that can, that are some, you think you're going to attract quality men when you have no standards? Right? If you're for the streets, you're going to attract men that want women that are from the streets. You think you're going to attract, I swear to God, just like the fucking Kendra G videos, right? These women that have 3 baby daddies, right? That's 40, right? That has a body count of 1 million. And they think, oh, you know what? Now I want a high value man. I want a man that's a good man. I want a man that's a loyal man. I want a man that's not a cheater. Are you crazy? You are bottom of the barrel woman and you want to attract top tier men? Shut up with that shit. Antex, what is up, my brother? What is up?
Problem doing that. But not when I like somebody and it's meaning something, it's different. If I'm willingly giving myself, I don't have a problem being used that way, but
you don't have a problem being used that way. You should. This is the problem with so many women nowadays, right? They don't think sex is emotional bond anymore, right? They think sex is just like hookup culture, right? Situationships. That's it. It's just scratching my back. That's it.
This is different. This just ends up feeling yucky. It makes me feel gross. And I won't lie, I was so fucking...
And see, that's the thing. That's the sad part. Antics, I love it. Thank you, my brother. All right? Thank you for the love and support. And that's the thing, right? This is the hookup culture, situationships, rosters. I'm sorry, women created it and perpetuate it. But it's a detriment to women. Right? Like Red Door said, don't people get to know someone before they're sleeping with them? I don't think they do. Women barely know the men they're sleeping with. Oh, he's cute. He's charming. I'm going to sleep with him. I fall in love with him. Bitch, you don't know him. So no surprise he's cheated on you. No surprise he ignored you. No surprise he mistreated you. You didn't know the man. You gave him the milk. So why does he want the cow? Plain and simple. You need to pull up a dating site with 60-year-olds. It doesn't change. And that's the sad part, right? We have older women wrongfully teaching younger generation. They treat sex like a handshake. Oh my God, exactly. They treat sex like a handshake and are surprised men use them. I'm surprised when men use them. No, duh. This mentality, I don't care if I use them. I don't care. I have a roster. I don't, it's like I'm a man eater. You think you're going to attract quality men? You think you're going to attract men that care about something, some substance, of something of more value, right? You're going to attract men that just wants that ass. That is it. You are going to attract men that just want that ass. It doesn't matter if he's geeky, nerdy, or shy, right? You know that, this bitch just is a good lay. I hear it around town, right? I hear around town.
He belongs to the street.
I hear in the streets that this woman is a good lay. She's an easy lay. I got to have sex with her the first night I met her. No surprise.
I'm excited about this kid. And I thought he was gonna be so nice. Bro, I've never had anybody like be that cold and fucking mean to me. I won't lie. All the ones you know about, like Sam never did that to me. Bookstore Sam, Frenchie never did that. Soccer Boy didn't even do that. I don't know, it kind of feels like I got played on purpose. I don't like mean-spirited people. And that's what that felt like. I'm not mean-spirited. When I'm on here joking about the roster, half of them are made up.
Yeah, now we know you're a liar too. Great. One, you talk about a roster, and then you're not even truthful about it, but half of your roster are made up. It's like, seriously, you think you're putting out a good character persona out there? You're not. Right? A lot of women don't realize when you put into the world that honestly you are a low barrel person, right? A low tier person. You're going to get low tier, men into your life.
Like that one the other day was like, oh, sweetie, you think that's about you? Nobody had messaged me that. Like, that's content. But when I have a roster, they know I have a roster. Like, they know.
Oh, okay. You have a roster. It's like, you have multiple men. Wait, how many times did she say, bro? She said, this is a white girl.
Know about each other. If it's casual, it's casual. But I dropped that roster so fucking quick. I like somebody, which is why I'm in this position now, bro. It took me one.
And this is the problem, right? Casual. You have a mindset that is casual. You are only going to find men that are casual. We are living in a generation of women that honestly treat sex like it's casual. Treat interaction like it's casual. Situationships, hookup culture, a roster, right? Just multiple men. Just emotionless sex with a bunch of men. You think you're going to attract quality men? We have women on Kendra G's show go on a dating show and said they just had sex with a man last night. Said they just had sex with a man a week before. Said they just had sex with a man a month before. Casual, right? The man that you had sex with the night before, the week before, the month before, he's not good enough to be your boyfriend, or he doesn't want to be your boyfriend. But here you are outside in the dating market trying to get a boyfriend. Bitch, are you crazy? You're out here slinging it like it's hot, right? And now you think that, what type of man you think you're attracting? You are a hoe. You are a slut, right? And then you think that you attract quality men? This is the problem. What I said, men on this side, we at least try to say, women, have standards. Have some value in yourself. Have some value in your body. Stop slinging your body like you're men. It's like, what is wrong with women today? What is wrong? Why do they not have standards? They say that they have standards, right? They say they have standards, but they constantly say they have situationships, hookup cultures, roster. What kind of fucking standard is that? What standard is that you're giving your body to a man last night, but he doesn't qualify for a relationship, or he doesn't want a relationship with you? You gave your body to a man last week, but you don't want to be in a relationship with him. So your standards it's only for quality men, but yet men that are not quality men, you give your body to. Your body. So your body is for quality men, but a relationship with you is for top tier men, is for good men. Literally, you wonder why men think that they they finish last, right? You allow yourself to be used throughout your life. Okay? Women allow themselves to be used throughout their life, and then all of a sudden, a good man needs to marry her, commit to her, protect and provide for her. Are you crazy?
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
One day, and I was like, cleared. And the difference is too, like with my toys, I don't switch up like that. You know what I mean? It is what it is from the get-go. I'm not dating you and making you fall in love with me and then being like, fuck you. All parties are always on.
I also want to say this, right? Our part perception of the nice guy. What makes him fucking nice? Yo, the emoji. Exactly. What makes him a nice guy? Because you perceive him as nerdy and shy? No, that's stupid. What makes him a nice guy?
On the same page with what's happening. But yeah, my boundaries were pushed a little bit and it went faster than I wanted it to. But I really liked him. Or at least what I knew of him, and I liked our band.
What you knew of him. You didn't know much of him. And yet you gave him your fucking ass.
And that motherfucker was giving me forehead kisses and I said, please don't do that. And he goes, why are you gonna catch feelings? Here, let me make sure I do it again. You fucking evil supervillain. I just feel gross. Yeah. And it was already a hard week for me. But that was my pick-me-up. And now I just feel fucking beat down again, dude. I can get whoever I want. That is totally true. But they only want to sleep with me.
Then maybe reevaluate what you want. Right? What's wrong with women? Right? Maybe reevaluate what you want. Understand that you are the problem. This is the problem with so many women. They're perceived of what's a nice guy. What is nice about him? He was shy and geeky? Being fucking geeky doesn't make you a nice guy. Being shy doesn't make you a nice guy, right? His actions, right? His life shows you if he's a nice guy or not. Stop with this BS from so many women. Oh, this is why I don't like nice guys. Are you fucking, what about him was nice? What about the man was nice? Because he's geeky? Because he kissed you on the forehead? How's that make him a nice guy? Like, are women just honestly so dense they don't understand anything? Being nice isn't what you just perceived. Oh, he's shy and geeky, so he must be a nice guy. Stop it with that BS, right? Women have to understand. This is why men say this. Stop falling for words. It is action. Right? A man that shows how he is through actions, listen to that. I swear to God, men care about women more than women care, right? Listen through a man's actions, right? Follow his actions, not his fucking words.
I can't get people to want to date me. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm always fine.
Yeah, exactly. I swear to God, right? In my personal opinion, a man that would want to sleep with a woman he barely knows isn't the most nice guy, right? Isn't the most nicest guy, or particularly towards you, right? He just wants sex with you. That's it. Okay. A guy that just wants to have sex with you, when he barely knows you, I wouldn't put him in the nice guy category. Now, I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. I'm not saying that, but I wouldn't say he's typically nice guy, right? At least not towards her. That's it. If a man is sleeping with a woman when he barely knows her, he's not a nice guy to her. He's not. All right? It's actions. His actions that he just wanted that ass. That is it.
But I'm angry. And I'm hurt.
Yeah, it says something exactly. Words are women's weakness, while men are prone to appearance. That's the thing where it's. Listen. This is why I said women are better off listening to men's content, because it would be about actions. Stop listening to words. Stop. Right? This is why I've always loved the saying, when you lie, women will buy. Right? When you lie, women will buy. That's the insanity of women. DA, they aren't victims. Don't let these tears fool you. No, yeah, they're not victim. This is why I hold this woman accountable. She's the idiot, right? She's the idiot, not these men, right? Players are players, right? Players are players. But if you can't recognize the player, you're at fault.
And I just, the reason I went for somebody different from my type is because
How do you want someone different? This is like I have the problem with women. Different because he's nerdy and shy? Nerdy and shy is what he's different? Why not? It's like, it's so superficial, right? Nerdy and shy, which is kind of ambiguous. Why not do something different where he's a responsible man? He's a morally sound man, right? He's a man of principle, right? He's a man of personality. He's a man that, you know what? Instead of I have a story, right? There was a woman that I went on a couple dates with, right? A woman that I went on a couple dates with. After I think the second date, she wanted to have sex. She wanted to have sex right away. Now, this might be the simp blue pill me, but I'm not into just casual sex. I'm not, okay? I'm not into casual sex. It doesn't do much for me. Casual sex doesn't do much for me. So I wanted to get to know somebody. That's plain and simple. I wanted a girlfriend. If I wanted just a sexual partner, I could pay for it, right? I could just go pay for it. It's less of a hassle, less of a, you know what, let's just get it over with, right? I'm the person, like, if I wanted sex, I'll pay for it. It's less of a headache. But I want a relationship. So I don't really I'm not desiring sex from you. I want more, something more substantial. I want a relationship. So, you know, she wanted sex right away, which is, I don't know. It is what it is, right? But I said that, no, I wanted some more. So I wanted to get to know her. I wanted to continue to get to know her. Guess what? Well, she stopped talking to me. She stopped talking to me and she, moved on. It is what it is, right? I don't blame her. That's what she wants. That's what she wants. But again, right? It's the type of person, right? It's not because I'm a geek, I'm a nerd or whatever. No, it's the type of person. It's my goals, right? Was that man's goal a relationship? Was that man's goal, right? Something more substantial. Plain and simple. His goal was probably just your ass. Antic is, we are on the same page right here. This is what I'm saying. Quality men. Men with substance. I'm not looking for ass, right? I'm not looking for just sex, right? There are plenty of men that are just not looking for just sex. Because if they are, you can pay for it. It's less of a headache, right? I'll pay for it. I'll bust a nut. I'm out. If I wanted just sex. It's less of a hassle for me just to pay for it. Because you'll still pay for it regardless, right? You just don't get the headache along with it. But again, it's the type of men. Type is not necessarily geeky and shy. Type is personality. Who he is inside, right? Who he is inside.
I was prioritizing a soft landing. I just wanted somebody kind. Joke's on me, bro. I got fucking one of the meanest ones I've had in a while. Holy fucking shit. I don't know. It just makes me feel less than human. The way that interaction went. Things will swing back over in my favor. I know they will. I just was really excited to be cuffed for cuffing season. I just wanted something soft and calm. I have a knack for finding the most unsafe people for me emotionally. Anyways, boys are super.
Well, that is because it is your fault. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with women where they don't value themselves. So they can't comprehend that if you don't value yourself, why would you think you will pick someone that will value you? Plain and simple.
Villains. We hate them. Okay, bye.
And yet you pick the supervillains. You pick the terrible men. What can I say? Well, what do you guys think? Women will never learn. Guys, you guys are amazing. I love you. All right. Thank you for all the love and support. All right. English, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. All right. I'm going to say this often, right? With the 2 lives I'm going to have, the Wednesdays and Saturdays. This Sunday, I am going on my trip, right? This Sunday, I'm going to go on my trip for 2 months. I won't be back until later on in the, later on. That's why I'm MGTOW DA, because there's no hope. No, stop it. English, there's hope, right? Like I said, my brothers, right? Travel the world. Travel the world. There's hope out there. It's fear of missing out. Yeah, no, I agree. That's the thing, where don't do it by desperation, right? Don't be desperate. That's the thing. Don't be desperate. I'm not going to waste my words. I understand that. Right? I definitely do. Guys, right? Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you. I'm going to try to do some lives when I'm over there, right? Some lives, but it might not be the correct time because different time zones, right? So I don't know if I'm going to catch you guys for the next couple of weeks, right? So if I don't catch you guys, right, when I'm gone, I'm going to say this often, right, for the next 2 lives, right? So I'm just going to reiterate it, but if I don't catch you guys for the next couple of weeks, I'll miss you guys, right? I love you. I'll still probably do lives, right? Like lives about trips and stuff, my trip, but it'll probably be different hours, right? Different times. So I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Then I hope I see you, right? I hope I see you guys, right? So, all right, guys. Mr. Smith, I love you, my brother. I love you. English, I love you. Thank you for the support. Antics, I love you, my brother. Thank you I love seeing you tonight. Sism, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Laughing Man was here. I love you, my brother. Jeremiah, thank you for being here. Red Door, my sister, I love you. Thank you for being here. Anyone else? Whiskey, thank you for being here. Real Rain, I love you, my brother. Thank you for being here. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. I really do, right? You got to know it's true. You guys are, a big part of my life. Ty Cena, thank you for being here. I love you guys. All right. Have a good night. You guys are amazing. See you guys on the next live, right? Wednesdays is the panel show. So I'm going to have some questions, right? Some, topics that we can always maybe talk about. So that'll be fun, right? So Wednesdays, the panel show. If you guys want, please join. All right.